The truth about your bank account has nothing to do with the economy, your boss, or the luck you think you lack. The truth is much harsher and far more empowering. Your financial situation is a perfect reflection of your current identity, your daily habits, and the lies you have chosen to believe. Most people live their entire lives in a state of quiet desperation, looking at their screens and wondering why they are falling behind while others seem to thrive effortlessly. They blame the system, they blame their upbringing, and they blame the timing. But the 99% are broke because they think and act like the 99%. They prioritize comfort over growth. They prioritize looking rich over being wealthy. They prioritize the temporary hit of dopamine from a new purchase over the long-term freedom of financial independence. You are listening to this because you are tired of being part of that statistics. You are tired of the anxiety that hits when the bills arrive. You are tired of the feeling that you are capable of so much more, yet you are shackled by a lack of resources. This is your financial awakening. This is the moment you stop being a passenger in your own life and start becoming the architect of your fortune. This is not a book about get-rich-quick schemes or picking the next trending stock. This is a blueprint for a fundamental internal transformation. Real wealth is not something you find. It is something you become. It is the result of a disciplined mind and a relentless commitment to excellence. Most people want the breakthrough without the work. They want the harvest without the planting. They want the freedom without the discipline. But you are different. You are here because you are ready to face the hard truths. You are ready to audit your life, prune the habits that are killing your potential, and build a foundation that cannot be shaken by any market crash or economic downturn. Over the next 10 chapters, we are going to dismantle the house of cards you have been living in and replace it with a fortress of financial power. We will address the psychology of lack that keeps you playing small. We will attack the consumer debt that acts as a lead weight around your neck. We will redefine your value in the marketplace so you stop trading your precious time for pennies. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with the actions you are currently afraid to take. It is filled with the discipline you are currently avoiding. This journey requires you to leave your old self behind. The version of you that makes excuses, the version of you that seeks external validation, and the version of you that is comfortable with mediocrity must die so that the wealthy, disciplined, and free version of you can be born. This is your wake-up call. The world does not owe you a living, but it offers you every opportunity to take what is yours if you have the courage to reach for it. Success is a choice. Wealth is a choice. Freedom is a choice. Most people choose the easy path of least resistance and end up in the hard life of financial struggle. You are going to choose the hard path of discipline so you can enjoy the easy life of true financial breakthrough. Let us begin. Chapter 1: The Internal Blueprint. Your financial reality is an external manifestation of an internal map. If your map is flawed, no amount of effort will get you to your destination. Most people believe that if they just had more money, their problems would vanish. They think the external currency is the solution. But money only magnifies who you already are. If you are undisciplined with $1,000, you will be a disaster with $1 million. The reason most lottery winners go broke within a few years is that their internal blueprint was never upgraded to match their external bank account. They had a broke identity with a rich man's balance, and the identity always wins in the end. You must understand that your mind has been programmed since childhood to view money through a lens of scarcity, fear, or resentment. You were likely told that money is the root of all evil, or that rich people are greedy, or that you should just be happy with what you have. These are the scripts of the 99%. These are the programs designed to keep you compliant and average. To achieve a breakthrough, you must first identify and delete these scripts. Think about the way you speak about money. Do you say things like "I cannot afford that" or "money is hard to come by"? Every time you speak those words, you are reinforcing a blueprint of lack. You are telling your brain that you are a victim of circumstances. The wealthy identity operates differently. The wealthy identity asks, "How can I afford that?" or "What value must I create to generate this income?" This is not just semantics. This is a fundamental shift in how you process reality. Most people focus on the cost of things, while the exceptional focus on the value and the ROI of their time and capital. Look at your daily habits. They are the bricks of your internal blueprint. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their attention to the world through social media or news. They start their day in a reactive state, worrying about things they cannot control. You, however, must start your day in a proactive state. You must realize that your financial awakening begins the moment you take full responsibility for every cent that enters and leaves your life. Radical responsibility is the hallmark of the successful. When you blame your boss for your low salary, you give away your power. When you blame the economy for your failing business, you become a victim. But when you say, "I am the reason I am broke," you suddenly have the power to be the reason you are rich. This is a bitter pill to swallow for most, which is why most people stay broke. They would rather feel right and be poor than be challenged and become wealthy. You must audit your beliefs about worth. Do you believe you are actually worth a high income? Most people have a thermostat for their income. When they start making a bit more than they are used to, they subconsciously sabotage themselves through overspending or laziness to get back to their comfort zone. You must manually turn up that thermostat. You must convince yourself through action and repetition that you are a person who commands high value. This chapter is about the foundation. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. Your old beliefs, your old excuses, and your old identity are the swamp. We are here to drain that swamp and pour a foundation of concrete and steel. This internal shift is the most difficult part of the process because it requires you to admit you were wrong. It requires you to admit that your current way of thinking has failed you. Most people are too proud to admit failure, so they continue to fail. You are going to be humble enough to learn and disciplined enough to change. Your financial awakening starts within the silent corners of your mind before it ever shows up in your wallet. If you do not change the man or woman in the mirror, The numbers on the screen will never stay where you want them. You must become the kind of person who deserves wealth. You must develop the character, the resilience, and the focus of a person who is financially free long before the first million arrives. This is the law of the internal blueprint. Your outer world will always accelerate or decelerate to match your inner world. Stop looking for the shortcut and start looking for the shift. Chapter 2: Decimating the Average. The greatest threat to your financial breakthrough is not poverty. It is the lure of being average. Average is the comfortable middle ground where most people live their entire lives. It is the world of the 40-hour work week, the modest car loan, the mortgage that takes 30 years to pay off, and the constant feeling that you are just getting by. Most people find safety in the crowd. They look at their neighbors and see that everyone else is also in debt, also complaining about their jobs, and also living for the weekend. This gives them a false sense of security. They think if everyone else is doing it, it must be okay. But the average person is stressed, unhealthy, and financially fragile. To have a breakthrough, you must develop a healthy disdain for being average. You must realize that the path of the majority leads to a destination you do not want to reach. Most people spend money they have not earned to buy things they do not need to impress people they do not even like. This is the consumer trap. It is a cycle of status seeking that keeps the masses in a state of perpetual financial slavery. They are working jobs they hate to pay for a lifestyle that does not fulfill them. Your financial awakening requires you to opt out of this game. You must stop seeking status and start seeking freedom. Status is a shiny car in the driveway that loses value every day. Freedom is a portfolio of assets that pays for your life while you sleep. Most people cannot tell the difference. They see someone in a luxury suit and think that person is successful. Often, that person is one paycheck away from total collapse. Real wealth is silent. It is the freedom to say no to things that do not align with your mission. It is the ability to walk away from a toxic environment because you are not dependent on a specific salary. To decimate the average, you must become comfortable with being misunderstood. When you start saving 60% of your income, people will call you cheap. When you spend your weekends building a business instead of going to the bar, people will call you boring. When you stop buying the latest gadgets to invest in your skills, people will tell you that you are missing out. Let them talk. Most people are critics because it is easier to judge someone else's hustle than to start their own. You are playing a different game. You are playing the long game. The average person has a time horizon of 1 week. They are thinking about the next Friday. The exceptional person has a time horizon of 10 years. They are thinking about the legacy they are building. This shift in perspective is what separates the breakthrough from the breakdown. Average people seek entertainment. Exceptional people seek education. Average people talk about other people. Exceptional people talk about ideas and systems. Average people wait for permission. Exceptional people take initiative. If you look at your life and realize you are doing what everyone else is doing, you should be very concerned. It means you are heading exactly where they are heading. You must intentionally create a gap between yourself and the masses. This means auditing your social circle. If your 5 closest friends are broke and have no ambition, you will eventually become the 6th. It is not because they are bad people, but because their low standards will eventually bleed into your own. Excellence is contagious, but so is mediocrity. You must surround yourself with people who make you feel like you are not doing enough. You need people around you who view $100,000 a month as a starting point, not a distant dream. Decimating the average requires a ruthless commitment to your own potential. It means saying no to the social pressure to fit in. It means being the one who works harder, stays longer, and learns faster. Most people will tell you that you are doing too much. They will tell you to relax and enjoy life. But they do not realize that true enjoyment of life comes from the peace of mind that financial mastery provides. There is no joy in being average and constantly worried about the next emergency. There is no joy in having your time owned by someone else. Your breakthrough depends on your ability to kill the average version of yourself. Every time you choose the easy path, you are feeding the average. Every time you choose the disciplined path, you are feeding the breakthrough. The world is designed to keep you average. The media, the advertising, and the social structures all benefit from you being a compliant consumer. To break through, you must be a rebel. You must be the one who refuses to settle. You must be the one who demands more from yourself than anyone else could ever expect. Chapter 3: The War on Debt. Debt is the most effective form of modern slavery ever invented. It does not require chains or cages. It only requires a signature and a lack of foresight. Most people view debt as a tool or a normal part of life. They have been conditioned to believe that you cannot buy a house without a massive mortgage. You cannot get an education without student loans, and you cannot drive a decent car without a monthly payment. This is a lie designed to keep you in the workforce for 40 years, producing value for others while you struggle to pay interest. Your financial awakening requires you to declare a total war on debt. You must see it for what it truly is: a thief that steals your future earnings and gives them to a bank. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that is not working for you. It is a dollar that is not compounding in your favor. Most people are comfortable with debt because everyone else has it. They see a car payment of $500 as just another bill. But if you invested that $500 a month into an index fund for 30 years, you would have over $1,000,000. The car is not costing you $500 a month. It is costing you $1,000,000 in lost opportunity. This is the math that most people refuse to do because it makes their lifestyle choices look foolish. To achieve a breakthrough, you must be willing to look foolish in the short term. You must be willing to drive the old car, live in the smaller apartment, and avoid the credit card rewards traps. Credit cards are designed by the smartest psychologists in the world to make you spend more. They remove the pain of payment. When you use physical cash, your brain registers a loss. When you swipe a card, you feel nothing until the bill arrives 30 days later. This is how they get you. They trap you in a cycle of spending and borrowing that never ends. You must break the cycle. There is no such thing as good debt when you are trying to reach a breakthrough. People will tell you that a mortgage is good debt because the house appreciates. But for most people, their primary residence is an expense, not an investment. You pay for maintenance, taxes, insurance, and massive amounts of interest. It only becomes an investment if you sell it, and even then, the real winner is usually the bank. You must become debt-free as quickly as humanly possible. This is not just about the numbers, it is about the psychology. When you owe no one anything, your level of risk tolerance goes through the roof. You can quit a job you hate. You can start a business. You can make moves that a person in debt could never dream of making. Debt makes you a coward. It makes you stay in situations that diminish your soul because you need the next paycheck to satisfy the creditor. Freedom is the ability to walk away, and you cannot walk away if you are tethered to a lender. Start by listing every single debt you have, from the smallest credit card to the largest loan. Most people are too afraid to even look at the total number. They keep it in the back of their minds like a dark cloud. You must bring it into the light. You must confront it with a plan. Use the snowball method or the avalanche method. It does not matter as long as you are moving with intensity. This is a war. You should be eating, sleeping, and breathing the elimination of your debt. Stop going out to eat. Stop taking vacations you cannot afford. Stop buying clothes to cover up the fact that your bank account is empty. Every extra cent you have should be fired at your debt until it is gone. This requires a level of aggression that most people find uncomfortable. But being broke should be more uncomfortable. Being a slave to a bank should be intolerable. Once you are debt-free, you must vow never to go back. Never again will you trade your future freedom for a present comfort. You must understand that the borrower is always a servant to the lender. In the kingdom of your life, you must be the king or queen, not the servant. This chapter is about reclaiming your sovereignty. It is about taking back the keys to your life from the institutions that want to keep you dependent. A breakthrough cannot happen while you are bleeding money to interest payments. You must plug the holes in the ship before you can start moving toward the horizon. Declare the war today. Cut the cards, sell the car you cannot afford, and do whatever it takes to get to zero. Zero is a much better place to be than negative 50,000. From zero, you can build an empire. From debt, you can only build a prison. Chapter 4: The Skill Gap. Most people are broke not because they do not work hard, but because the work they do is not valuable to the marketplace. The world does not pay you for your time. It pays you for the value you bring to the hour. If you are trading your time for a low wage, it is because you have a low-value skill set. This is a hard truth that many people find offensive, but it is the reality of the economic system. You are paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problems you solve. If you are doing something that anyone can be trained to do in a week, you will never be wealthy. You are replaceable. To achieve a breakthrough, you must close the skill gap. You must identify high-value skills that are in demand and commit yourself to mastering them. Most people stop learning the moment they leave school. They think their education is over once they have a diploma. This is why they stay stagnant for decades. The exceptional person realizes that self-education is a lifelong pursuit. They are constantly reading, taking courses, attending seminars, and practicing their craft. They understand that their income will only grow as much as they do. Look at the skills that the top 1% of earners possess. These are usually skills like sales, copywriting, public speaking, leadership, technical expertise, or strategic thinking. These are not skills you are born with. They are skills you build through thousands of hours of deliberate practice. Most people are lazy. They want the high salary without the high-level skill. They want the promotion without the extra responsibility. They complain that their boss does not pay them enough, but they haven't done anything to increase their value to the company in 5 years. Your financial awakening requires you to become a student again. You must audit your current skill set and be honest about its market value. If your skills are obsolete or low value, you are in a dangerous position. You are at the mercy of the market. But when you possess rare and valuable skills, the market is at your mercy. You can command higher fees, choose who you work with, and dictate your own terms. The skill gap is the difference between a life of struggle and a life of abundance. Think about your career as a product. If you were an investor, would you invest in the product that is you? Is your knowledge current? Are you more efficient than you were last year? Are you solving bigger problems? Most people are doing the bare minimum just to not get fired. This is the 99% mindset. You must do the maximum to become indispensable. This means going deep into your field. It means becoming the person who knows more and does more than anyone else. It also means developing a diverse range of complementary skills. A great coder who also knows how to sell is worth 10 times more than a coder who can only talk to computers. A salesperson who understands psychology and data analysis is a force to be reckoned with. The goal is to become what is known as a T-shaped individual, deep expertise in one area with a broad understanding of many others. This makes you resilient. If one industry fails, your skills allow you to pivot instantly. Most people are terrified of change because they only have one move. They are like a one-trick pony in a circus that is closing down. You must be the entire circus. This requires a relentless work ethic. You must be willing to spend your evenings and weekends studying while everyone else is watching Netflix. You must be willing to invest your own money into your education. Most people will spend $5 on a coffee but hesitate to spend $50 on a book that could change their life. This is a massive mistake. Your brain is your greatest asset. It is the only thing that can generate wealth from nothing. If you lost everything tomorrow but kept your skills and your knowledge, you would be back on top within a year. Wealth is not in the bank account. It is in the mind. The skill gap is a chasm that most people are too afraid to jump. They would rather stay on the safe side even if that side is crumbling. You are going to build a bridge across that chasm through sheer force of will and consistent effort. Do not ask for more money, ask for more skills. The money will inevitably follow the value. This is a law of the universe that cannot be bypassed. The more you know, the more you can do, and the more you can do, the more you can earn. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of the next skill you master. Chapter 5: The Discipline of Budgeting. Budgeting is not about restriction. It is about command. Most people hate the word budget because they think it means they cannot have fun. They think it means they have to live a life of deprivation. But the truth is exactly the opposite. A budget gives you permission to spend because you know exactly where every dollar is going. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They look at their bank balance at the end of the month and wonder how it disappeared. They are leaking money through 1,000 small holes. They have subscriptions they do not use. They buy lunch out every day. And they make impulsive purchases that provide a 3-second hit of pleasure followed by years of financial stress. To have a breakthrough, you must take absolute command of your cash flow. You must be the general of your financial army. Every dollar is a soldier. If you send your soldiers out into the world without a mission, they will be captured or killed by someone else's agenda. When you give every dollar a specific job, you start to see progress. Your financial awakening requires you to track every single cent. This sounds tedious because it is. Most people are too lazy to do it, which is why most people are broke. Discipline is the price of freedom. You must sit down every week and review your spending. You must categorize your expenses and identify the waste. You will be shocked at how much money you are throwing away on things that do not move you closer to your goals. The average person spends 15% of their income on things that are completely unnecessary. That 15% could be the difference between retiring in 10 years or working until you are 75. You must prioritize your future self over your current self. Most people are constantly stealing from their future self to satisfy the cravings of their current self. They want the nice dinner now, so they take the money that should have been invested for their retirement. This is a form of self-sabotage. You must develop the discipline to say no to the present so you can say yes to a much bigger future. A budget is a tool for alignment. It ensures that your spending reflects your values. If you say you want to be financially free, but your bank statement shows you spend $300 a month on streaming services and takeout, you are a liar. Your bank statement is a more accurate reflection of your priorities than your words will ever be. To achieve a breakthrough, your actions must match your ambitions. This means creating a gap between what you earn and what you spend. This gap is the fuel for your breakthrough. The larger the gap, the faster you move. Most people increase their spending as soon as their income increases. This is called lifestyle creep, and it is a trap. They get a raise and immediately move to a bigger house or buy a newer car. They are running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster, but they are not going anywhere. You must maintain your standard of living even as your income grows. This allows the gap to widen until it becomes an unstoppable force of wealth creation. Discipline is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. It is choosing the home-cooked meal over the restaurant. It is choosing the library over the bookstore. It is choosing the investment account over the designer shoes. Most people will call you extreme. They will say you are not living. but you are the only one who is actually living because you are living with intention. You are not a victim of your impulses. You are the master of your resources. This level of control brings a peace of mind that no consumer purchase can ever match. When you have a fully funded emergency fund and a clear plan for your money, the stress of life begins to fade. You no longer worry about the car breaking down or the water heater leaking. You have a system in place to handle it. Budgeting is the foundation of financial power. Without it, you are just a person with a lot of money passing through their hands. With it, you are an accumulator of wealth. You must learn to love the numbers. You must learn to love the process of optimization. Every dollar you save is a dollar you have reclaimed from the system. Every dollar you invest is a seed that will grow into a tree of liberty. Do not let the simplicity of this chapter fool you. The most profound truths are often the simplest. Master your money, or it will master you. Chapter 6. Investing in yourself. The highest return on investment you will ever find is not in the stock market, real estate, or cryptocurrency. It is in the space between your ears. Most people are willing to invest in external assets before they have invested in their own capacity to generate value. They want to buy a rental property before they have learned how to manage their own time. They want to buy a stock before they have read a single book on how businesses actually work. Your financial awakening requires a shift in where you place your capital. In the early stages of your breakthrough, every spare dollar should be funneled back into your own growth. This is the only investment that is tax-free, inflation-proof, and cannot be stolen from you. When you invest in a skill, that skill stays with you forever. If the market crashes, you still have the skill. If the currency devalues, you still have the skill. Most people view education as a cost. They see the price of a seminar or a coaching program and think it is too expensive, but they never consider the cost of ignorance. Ignorance is the most expensive thing you can own. It is the mistakes you make because you do not know any better. It is the opportunities you miss because you do not have the eyes to see them. It is the years you spend working harder than you need to because you do not have the right strategy. You must become an aggressive learner. You should be spending at least 10% of your income on your own development. Buy the books, take the courses, find the mentors. Most people spend more on their cable bill than they do on their personal growth. This is why they stay at the same level for 30 years. To reach the top 1%, you must do what the 99% are unwilling to do. You must be willing to pay for speed. A mentor can give you in 10 hours what it took them 10 years to learn. A book can give you a lifetime of wisdom for $20. This is the greatest bargain in human history, yet most people ignore it. They would rather figure it out on their own, which is a slow and painful way to live. You do not have enough time to make all the mistakes yourself. You must learn from the mistakes of others. Investing in yourself also means taking care of your physical and mental health. You cannot build an empire if you are constantly sick or burnt out. Your energy is a financial asset. If you have high energy, you can work longer, think clearer, and perform better. Most people treat their cars better than they treat their bodies. They put premium fuel in the tank but eat junk food and get 5 hours of sleep. This is a massive drain on your potential. Your financial breakthrough requires a high-performance vehicle, and that vehicle is you. You must also invest in your network. Your net worth is often a reflection of your network. Most people hang out with people who reinforce their current level of thinking. You must invest the time and money to get into rooms with people who are ahead of you. This might mean paying for a high-level mastermind or traveling to a conference. These connections can lead to partnerships, deals, and insights that you could never find on your own. Investing in yourself is a statement of self-worth. It is you telling the world that you believe in your own potential. When you stop investing in yourself, you are essentially saying that you have reached your peak, but you have not even begun to scratch the surface of what you are capable of. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you do not know. This humility is the engine of growth. The breakthrough happens when your internal capacity exceeds your current external reality. At that point, the world has no choice but to catch up. Money will flow to you because you have become a magnet for it. You have become someone who provides so much value that the marketplace cannot ignore you. Stop looking for the external magic pill. You are the magic pill. You are the asset. You are the breakthrough. Invest accordingly. Chapter 7: Asset Architecture. Once you have mastered your mindset, killed your debt, and increased your skills, you must begin the process of building a machine that works for you. Most people work for money. The wealthy have money work for them. This is the fundamental difference between a job and wealth. A job is a linear relationship. You trade 1 hour for X amount of dollars. If you stop working, the money stops. This is a precarious way to live. You are always one injury or one layoff away from disaster. Wealth is built by creating or acquiring assets that generate cash flow regardless of your physical presence. This is asset architecture. Your goal is to move from being a laborer to being an architect. Most people spend their lives building someone else's empire. They show up to a company, provide their labor, and the owner of that company gets to keep the lion's share of the value created. You must start building your own empire. This does not mean you have to quit your job tomorrow, but it means you must start acquiring assets on the side. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Most people are confused about this. They think their house is an asset, but it takes money out every month for the mortgage, taxes, and repairs. A true asset is a business, a rental property, a dividend-paying stock, or intellectual property. These are things that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They do not get tired, they do not complain, and they do not take vacations. To achieve a breakthrough, you must commit to a life of asset accumulation. Every time you receive money, you must decide whether to spend it on a temporary pleasure or use it to buy a piece of a permanent asset. Most people choose the pleasure. They buy the new clothes or the fancy dinner. They are consuming their seeds instead of planting them. You must be a planter. You must be willing to live below your means for a period of time so that you can acquire enough assets to eventually live way above your means. This is delayed gratification, the superpower of the wealthy. Asset architecture requires a strategic approach. You should not just buy things at random. You need a portfolio that is diversified but focused. You need to understand the risks and the rewards of each asset class. Most people lose money in the markets because they are gambling, not investing. They follow tips from the news or from friends. They buy when things are high and sell when they are low because they are driven by emotion. You must be driven by data and systems. You must have a long-term vision. Real wealth is not built overnight. It is built through the magic of compounding. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, but it requires time and consistency. Most people quit too early. They invest for a year, do not see a massive return, and give up. They do not realize that the real growth happens in the later years. You must be patient. You must be the architect who is willing to lay the bricks one by one for years before the building is finished. Think about your financial life as a machine. The inputs are your income and your time. The outputs are your freedom and your legacy. Your job is to optimize the machine. You want to minimize the friction, which is taxes and fees, and maximize the efficiency, which is the rate of return. This requires constant monitoring and adjustment. You cannot just set it and forget it. You must stay educated on the changing economic landscape. But the core principles of asset architecture remain the same. Buy quality, avoid debt, and let time do the heavy lifting. Most people are chasing the next big thing. They want the shortcut, but the shortcut is a trap. The long road is the only one that actually leads to the destination. Your breakthrough is the moment when the cash flow from your assets exceeds your living expenses. At that point, you are truly free. Work becomes a choice, not a necessity. You can spend your time on the things that actually matter to you. You can give back, you can create, and you can explore. This is the goal of the financial awakening. It is not just about the money, it is about the sovereignty over your own life. Build your machine. Protect your assets. Focus on the long term. The 99% are looking at today. You are looking at forever. Chapter 8. The Wall of Concentration. The modern world is a war for your attention. If you cannot control your focus, you cannot control your finances. Most people are constantly distracted. They are jumping from one idea to the next, one business model to the next, and one investment strategy to the next. This is known as shiny object syndrome, and it is a guaranteed way to stay broke. When you spread your energy across 10 different projects, you move 1 inch in 10 directions. When you focus all your energy on one project, you move 10 miles in one direction. To achieve a breakthrough, you must build a wall of concentration around your goals. You must become immune to the distractions that derail the average person. Most people quit right before they hit the breakthrough because the work becomes boring or difficult. They think the solution is to start something new and exciting. But the new and exciting always becomes old and difficult, eventually. The winners are those who can endure the mundane. They are the ones who can keep doing the same high-value actions day after day, long after the initial excitement has worn off. Success is often very boring. It is a series of consistent, disciplined actions that lead to a predictable result. Most people crave novelty, but novelty is the enemy of progress. You must find a proven path and stay on it until you reach the end. This requires a ruthless ability to say no. You must say no to good opportunities so that you can say yes to great ones. You must say no to social events that drain your energy. You must say no to the urge to check your phone every 5 minutes. Every time you switch tasks, you lose mental momentum. It takes time for your brain to reach a state of deep work. If you are constantly interrupted, you never reach that state. You remain in the shallow end of your potential. Your financial awakening requires you to master the art of deep work. You must carve out blocks of time where you are completely focused on your most important task. During this time, the world does not exist. Your only focus is the creation of value. This is where the breakthroughs happen. This is where the 1% operate. Most people are proud of their ability to multitask, but multitasking is just the ability to do many things poorly at once. Focus on one thing at a time. Finish what you start. There is a profound psychological benefit to completion. Every time you finish a task, you build confidence. Every time you leave something half done, you drain your self-esteem. You become a person who does not follow through. To reach the top, you must be a finisher. You must develop the wall of concentration that allows you to block out the noise of the world. This means turning off notifications, clearing your workspace, and managing your environment. It also means managing your internal state. You must learn to quiet the voice in your head that tells you to take a break or that you have done enough. You have not done enough until the job is finished. Most people are looking for a hack to increase their productivity. The only real hack is focus. It is the ability to direct your mind toward a single objective and keep it there until the objective is achieved. Think about a laser. A laser is just light that has been concentrated. Ordinary light can illuminate a room, but it cannot cut through steel. A laser can cut through steel because it is focused. Your mind is the same way. When it is scattered, it is weak. When it is focused, it is an unstoppable force. The wall of concentration is not something you build once. It is something you maintain every day. You will be tempted to tear it down. The world will try to lure you away with promises of easy money and quick results. Do not listen. Stay the course. Deepen your roots. The breakthrough is not found in the new, it is found in the deep. It is found in the mastery of the fundamentals. It is found in the persistence of the spirit. Build your wall. Guard your focus. The world belongs to those who can concentrate. Chapter 9. The Environment of Excellence. You are a product of your environment. Most people underestimate the power of their surroundings and the people they spend time with. They think they are strong enough to resist the negative influence of a toxic environment. But humans are social creatures. We subconsciously mirror the behaviors, attitudes, and standards of the people around us. If you spend your time with people who are lazy, complain about the economy, and waste their money on status symbols, you will eventually do the same. It is almost impossible to maintain a breakthrough mindset in a breakdown environment. Your financial awakening requires you to perform a ruthless audit of your surroundings. You must create an environment of excellence that pulls you toward your goals. This starts with the people in your life. Most people stay loyal to friends and family members who are actively holding them back. Loyalty is a virtue, but not when it results in your own destruction. You do not have to be mean, but you must be intentional about who has access to your time and energy. You need to find people who are playing a bigger game than you. You need to be in environments where your current goals are considered small. If you are the smartest and richest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You need to be the person in the room who has the most to learn. This might feel uncomfortable. It might hurt your ego to be around people who are much more successful than you. But that discomfort is the feeling of growth. It is the environment stretching your perception of what is possible. Most people avoid this discomfort and stay in rooms where they feel superior. This is a trap. Excellence is a standard that must be maintained. It is in the way you keep your office, the way you dress, and the way you speak. If your environment is chaotic, your mind will be chaotic. If your environment is orderly and professional, your mind will follow suit. You must also curate the information you consume. Most people fill their minds with the garbage of the mainstream media. They are constantly being fed a diet of fear, outrage, and celebrity gossip. This is mental poison. It drains your energy and distracts you from your mission. You must build a digital environment of excellence. Follow the thinkers, the doers, and the builders. Read the books that have stood the test of time. Listen to the podcasts that challenge your assumptions. Your mind is like a garden. If you do not intentionally plant seeds of success, weeds of failure will grow automatically. An environment of excellence also includes your relationship with yourself. You must set high standards for your own behavior. Most people are easy on themselves and hard on the world. They make excuses for their own failures but judge others for theirs. You must be the opposite. You must be hard on yourself and maintain an unwavering commitment to your own potential. This means doing what you said you were going to do, even when you do not feel like doing it. It means being punctual, being reliable, and being professional in everything you do. When you live in an environment of excellence, success becomes a byproduct of your lifestyle. You do not have to chase it as hard because your surroundings are already aligned with it. You are no longer fighting an uphill battle against your own friends and habits. Instead, you are being carried forward by a current of ambition and discipline. Most people will never change their environment because they are afraid of the transition. They are afraid of being lonely or being judged. But the loneliness of the top is much better than the crowdedness of the bottom. The judgment of the average is a badge of honor. It means you are doing something right. Create your sanctuary. Protect your energy. Surround yourself with giants. The environment always wins. Make sure yours is designed for your breakthrough. Chapter 10: Living the Breakthrough. A financial breakthrough is not a destination. It is a new way of being. Most people think that once they reach a certain number in their bank account, They can stop and relax. They think they can go back to their old habits. But the habits that got you to the breakthrough are the same habits required to maintain it. Success is a rented space, and the rent is due every single day. Living the breakthrough means staying hungry even when you are full. It means maintaining the discipline of the hungry person while having the resources of the wealthy person. This is the ultimate challenge. Most people become soft once they have a little bit of money. They lose the edge that made them successful in the first place. They start to indulge in the very behaviors they once avoided. To have a lasting financial awakening, you must commit to a life of perpetual growth. You must continue to raise your standards. Your breakthrough should serve as a platform for even greater contributions. True wealth is not just about what you can get, it is about what you can give. When you are financially free, you have the greatest gift of all, the ability to help others without expectation of return. You can fund causes you believe in, you can mentor the next generation, and you can build a legacy that outlives you. Most people are so focused on their own survival that they never get to experience the joy of contribution. Living the breakthrough is about moving from me to we. It is about using your financial power to create a positive impact on the world. This is what provides true fulfillment. Money alone is hollow. It is just a tool. But in the hands of a person with a clear mission and a strong character, it is a force for incredible good. You must also remain humble. Most people let success go to their heads. They start to think they are better than others. But the market is a fickle master. It can give and it can take away. The moment you think you have it all figured out is the moment you become vulnerable. Stay a student, stay humble, stay disciplined. Your financial awakening is a journey that lasts a lifetime. There will always be new challenges, new markets, and new skills to master. Embrace the process. Love the work more than the reward. When you love the work, the reward is inevitable. When you love the reward, the work becomes a chore. Most people are waiting for their life to begin once they have money. Your life is happening right now. The discipline, the struggle, the learning, and the growth, this is the good stuff. This is what you will remember when you look back. The breakthrough is the realization that you have the power to create your own reality. You are no longer a victim of the 99% mindset. You are an architect of your destiny. You have the skills, the discipline, the assets, and the environment to succeed at whatever you choose. This is the ultimate freedom. It is not just about the money in the bank, it is about the person you have become. You have transformed from a person of lack to a person of abundance. You have moved from broke to breakthrough. Now go out and live it. Show the world what is possible when a person decides to wake up. Show them that the average life is a choice and that greatness is available to anyone with the courage to claim it. This is your life. This is your awakening. Do not waste another second. A closing. You have reached the end of this journey, but in reality, you are at the beginning of a completely new life. The principles you have heard over the last 10 chapters are not just ideas. They are the fundamental laws of financial and personal power. If you apply them with consistency and ruthlessness, your breakthrough is not just a possibility. It is a mathematical certainty. You now possess the blueprint that most people will never see. You have the diagnosis of why the masses struggle and the prescription for how to transcend that struggle. But knowledge without action is the greatest form of self-betrayal. Do not let this become another piece of information that you consume and then forget. Let it be the catalyst for a permanent change in your identity. The 99% will go back to their distractions, their excuses, and their status-seeking tomorrow. They will continue to blame the world for their lack of progress. You, however, are now equipped to take full command. You are the hero of your own story. The path ahead will not always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and pressure to conform. But in those moments, remember why you started. Remember the feeling of the financial awakening. Remember the vision of the person you are becoming. True transformation is an internal shift that can never be undone. You have seen the truth, and once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it. You are no longer a person who is trying to be successful. You are a person who is successful in their actions, their habits, and their mindset every single day. The external wealth will eventually catch up to the internal wealth you have built. Trust the process. Keep laying the bricks. Stay focused on the long term. Your breakthrough is your responsibility and your privilege. The world needs more people who have taken command of their lives. The world needs more people who are free, disciplined, and empowered. Go forth with unwavering conviction. Your financial awakening is here. Your breakthrough has begun. Now go and finish the work.